everyone, thanks for joining me today for 2 minutes on the beach. Now, I've spoken to you a lot in the past about beach cleaning, the importance of doing it, how we do it and so on, but I haven't really told you too much about microplastics. Microplastics are any plastic that is smaller than 5 millimeters. Often we find them like this, and these have come from bigger bits of plastic that have broken up into smaller pieces. But sometimes we find a lot of these, and these are called nurdles. Now essentially, these little pellets are plastic in its raw form. So essentially anything that's made from plastic in the entire world starts its life as these little pellets. But why and where do we find them? Well, what happens is these somehow end up on our beaches after finding their way into our waterways. So maybe they've fallen off the back of a lorry in a box full. Maybe they've made their way into our sewers from the factories. But what happens is they get into our water streams, into our rivers, and as we know, rivers end up in the ocean. So how do we collect them? So there are two methods of collecting microplastics. One is sieving and one is floating. For example, when you're sieving, what you need to do is grab your sieve, grab a little handful of sand that you think might have some plastics in it, pop it into some water. Now I've got a bucket of water here that I just filled up from the ocean, but you can in fact use a rock pool if you've got one of them nearby. What's going to happen is the sand is going to sink and leave you with all the plastics, as you can see. Now the other method, if you don't have a sieve to hand, same kind of principle, you're going to float it. So you just grab a handful of sand, put it in a bucket of water, like so. Once all the sand has sunk, it's going to float to the surface just like that, and you can see all the plastics on the surface. Even a handful of sand that you think is relatively clean, you pop it in, and I guarantee you there's going to be some plastics coming to the surface. So the biggest problem with microplastics and nurdles is because of their size, they often get mistaken for food by birds, fish and other animals. But they are plastic and they are incredibly toxic to any animal that ingests them. So by taking them off the beaches and out of the oceans, you're helping to save an animal's life, which is rad. Plus, you can make some really jazzy artworks from all the bits that you find. Go on guys, it only takes 2 minutes next time you're at the beach.